Frank has always had a passion for old cars, and when he retired, he found an opportunity to get more deeply involved. He now owns two beautiful automobiles, a 56 Chevy and a 34 Chevy. The 56 Chevy came first, so that's where we'll start. He's owned this car for about 3 years, and like a lot of us, memories played a big part in the purchase.
When I was 19 years old, I had a 56, and it just happened that I sold the car, and I sold it because we needed a little bit more money to put down on the house. I sold the car for $2,000. I had to barely twist the guy's arm to buy it. It was the stupidest thing I ever done. I mean, that car was beautiful. I even tried to track it back, and no way, I can't find it.
And then, one day, he was looking on eBay and spotted the very car he was looking for. But like a lot of stories, there was a catch.
I got very lucky because the car was sold on eBay, and for some reason or another, the guy that bought it didn't come through with the money. So I called the guy up, and it took about a week. We made a deal and finally got it.
Frank looked the car over carefully and found it in reasonably good condition.
The body was good. The interior was mediocre. I mean, it was drivable. I mean, the car was all, but you know how it is. When you buy a house, you want it customize it to yourself, to whatever you want.
Customizing meant making a few changes. A few changes might be an understatement.
This car here, we were right through the whole thing. Changed the whole interior completely. I mean, everything in that interior has been changed. All the glass on the car has been changed. The motor's been worked over. It's a 383 stroker, pushing about 425 around there.
Those who have redone a car will know those upgrades involved a lot of time, work, and resources.
Solid 2 years. Get it up in the morning, 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. 5 days a week.
This car represented countless hours of work, 5 days a week for 2 years. But Frank wasn't content to have only one beautiful car. He was on the lookout for a second classic, and he found his 1934 Chevy not far from Chatham.
The car was painted when I got it, but it had no interior. The motor was junk. I put a new motor in it. The motor that was in there is out of a '69 Corvette. It's got a 350 transmission in it. The rear end is just a plain Jane rear end out of a Monte Carlo. Done all the interior completely. I bought 2 bucket seats out of the junkyard of a late model car, and we took the coat out of the seat and we ordered the cloth so it matches up the rest of the interior. That's a Mustang 2 front end. Pretty well, the car is in best shape there is.
Frank says many may not realize it, but GM was big on using plenty of wood in these old Chevys. All of that wood was destined to rot away over the years.
Actually, the way GM did it, made the structure out of wood, and then they put a small thin of sheet metal on the wood, and then they nail it together. And GM hung on to that wood a little bit longer, so there's not many of these around because of the simple reason is that the wood decayed, so the body collapsed. Ford got smart, and they got rid of the wood about 2 or 3 years before. That's why there's a lot more 34 Fords than there is Chevys.
Even the roof of the car had a wood frame which also required replacement.
I had to reinforce the inside of it, so I put square tubing, 1/2-inch square tubing on the inside, every 6 inches on the roof, and to reinforce it. Well, the seats out of a late GM car they were brand new when I got it because it was smashed up. I got the seats, actually they're full-size seats, which you rarely can put a full-size. I don't even have a 1/4 inch between the door and the seats on that car. All the carpet's been changed. It got new headliner on it, new stereo system. The car is like brand new.
A cool feature of this car is the taillights in the shape of a Chevy logo.
A friend of mine did it, Al Bratt. I asked him, he's a machinist, and I asked him to do that for me, and he did it. He cut them out perfectly.
Frank has always been meticulous with his work and his photography. Need pictures? Frank's the guy to contact. Now you know the story of Frank's 1956 Chevy and his 1934 Chevy. The more you know about our local cars and their owners, the more you'll appreciate these fantastic automobiles. I'll have more profiles of local cars and other videos throughout the winter. Thanks for viewing. Have a safe winter. And come spring, we'll see you at the car shows and cruise nights.